thanks everyone for joining us today for this demo. We really do appreciate the opportunity to show you how we help enterprises earn, keep, and grow customers by enabling human-to-human connection in digital spaces. I am just going to run through a few slides to give some background before I pass it off to Chris for the demo. So Glance Guided CX. What we do is transform those do-it-yourself journeys into do-it-together journeys inside your mobile apps, your portals, and your websites. It really helps you create genuine human guidance at those exact right points in time to help customers achieve their goals and build trust in your organization. From engaging to offering advice, from growing and educating, and of course, the service and support, our customers solve hundreds of use cases across multiple lines of business, across many different types of digital properties. They create these wow-worthy branded experiences where end customers don't even realize they're using Glance. It really is a fully branded experience. It helps you move the interaction forward without friction. It keeps all participants in the journeys, the workflows, or the communication channels they're already in. And it enables you to connect people right at that moment in need without disrupting the flow of collaboration. Glance is really an impactful CX innovation that's easy for everyone and it works everywhere. On the representative side, they can join customers for human-guided collaborations from any CRM, CCaaS, or custom desktop system. Today, we're going to show it out of Amazon Connect. On the customer side, they can use any browser or device, and they don't need to exchange a session key or download anything. Enterprises can create that consistent customer experience across any digital property, any channel, any business unit, any department, or even their third-party strategic partners like Intuit does with their CPA network. It's really easy to deploy, adopt, and use, and it is proven for enterprise-grade security and scale. And it's not just one narrow point tool. Your experts have a suite of visual collaboration capabilities right at their fingertips from inside whichever workspace they use every day, and you'll see these capabilities during the demo. And as I mentioned, Chris will be working out of Amazon Connect, and we'll be showing off how Glance leverages capabilities of that platform and works in those situations. Chris, I'm going to pass it off to you. So let me stop showing my screen and give you the controls.
Thank you so much, Heather.
You're welcome.
We're actually going to be showing an actual demonstration both of the customer and of an associate handling an interaction where a customer is needing to actually fulfill a business request. In this scenario, we're actually going to be showing both sides at the same time. On the right-hand side, you have the associate, or left-hand side, excuse me, the associate in the Amazon Connect workspace. And on the right-hand side, you actually have our customer. In this scenario, it's going to be Marshall Erickson. And the business scenario is Marshall is wanting to actually open a new credit card and wants to do it with his existing bank, which is Global Financial Services. And so you'll see the Global Financial Services website on the right-hand side. Marshall's also been...
I'm going to go ahead and turn off my video, let you continue.
Fantastic. We also have the NerdWallet, where Marshall has been out looking at other credit card types, and that will be important as we move through the interaction. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my video so we can actually show video within the Glance interaction. So with that, I'm going to turn off my video, and we're going to generate a phone call into the contact center. So this initial one, we're going to do a contact through a phone, but we can also do this through chat or other media types, which we will demonstrate. Okay, with that, I'm going to log in as Marshall.
Welcome to Global Financial Services. Please enter your PIN.
Marshall Erickson, thank you for being a Platinum customer.
Press 1 for checking, press 2 for credit cards, or press 3 for home financing.
And we're going to choose one as it has no automation on it that we're going to demonstrate a little bit later in the
Thank you. We are transferring you to a checking associate.
Thank you for calling. Your call is very
And so you can see the interaction as comes into the Amazon Connect workspace desktop, and you'll see the glance controls right there at the associate's fingertips. They don't have to look for them or do any other function. They're right there. And we've also provided additional information in this script showing some of the information, such as Marshall is a platinum customer, and they contacted us and different elements about that interaction. Glance, because we embed right in the desktop, makes it very fluid and easy for that associate to start that interaction. As Heather mentioned, we actually have mobile camera share, but we won't be demonstrating that today in the essence of brevity. But you can easily start a session where you can actually view the customer's mobile camera and do things like identity verification or even things like troubleshooting of equipment. So very, very flexible. You can also start a glance session in the very traditional approach, where you would have a button on the website. Everything is branded to the customer's website, so it would have the look and feel of your website. All the fonts, colors, those type of things. Even the terms and conditions would be the customers, the businesses. And with saying accept that, it would provide a code, and you could put the code in there. But Glance offers a far more elegant way to actually start the session without actually having to invoke the customer to take any action initially at all. We're going to log into the website as Marshall, and you'll see instantly we have a new button that appears, and it's an orange join button that is flashing. This is Glance presence. We're actually taking data that where they have logged into the website and are on the website, and because we have their interaction up and we're looking at the Amazon Connect profile, we know that this is in fact Marshall that has logged into the website. In fact, if Marshall goes to a different page on this NerdWallet page, you'll notice the button will disappear. And as soon as he moves back to Global Financial Services, it will reappear. This allows us to do a one-click connection. So with just one click on the associate side, it presents them with a dialog to accept the co-browse. Glance takes no action, as you'll see through the whole demo, without the customer accepting to do whatever action is being requested. They simply say accept, and with that, they're actually in a collaboration session. Notice it puts a yellow border around the customer's browser to let them know they're in a collaboration session, and even has the little pop-up that was there briefly to let them know they're in a collaboration session. At this point, anything the customer does, it will replicate that. If they resize, move around, what have you, it will replicate that behavior, so the associate always knows exactly what the customer is looking at. Notice that the cursors also replicate on each side. So wherever the customer is moving, or if they're clicking, you'll see the red highlight over on the associate side, and reciprocally, wherever the associate's mouse is pointing, that's also replicated. And you can actually do click and drag for gesturing. So I can click on whole areas or even specific objects. And it will highlight those. Notice it's in orange, and it says Chris on that, because you'll see later you can actually add multiple parties to the collaboration, and each one of them will be segregated. So we talk Marshall through just clicking the credit card and then the apply now button, and just like that, we've moved Marshall into where they can start applying for the credit card. Very first thing that Marshall does, we ask him to get the pull down, and they see these different credit card types. He has questions about those. Not a problem. Glance's entire element is being able to provide the right tools with the right information in the moment to solve those customer problems, making it seamless for both the associate and the customer to interact and move through the interaction. With that, they click on the compare cards, and in session, no need to send a separate link or anything else. That document is actually exchanged between the parties within the Glance session, and they can actually scroll through all of the content of that and even do things like gesturing on that document. This creates a fantastic opportunity to do things like upsell, cross-sell opportunities or conversions. For example, perhaps we want to upsell Marshall on the Visa Global Rewards credit card compared to the other offerings, which he in fact does. Also notice that the customer can actually download that document at any point they need. No need to send them a separate link or SMS or anything through email. That's right there in the session, making it very transient and easy to actually transact with Global Financial Services. With that, they close out that interaction, and Marshall has been upsold on the Global Rewards credit card, and then starts filling out the remainder of the form. Notice when we get down here to the Social Security number, as Marshall enters the Social Security number, it is masked. Anything can be masked on the page. You can even mask controls, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But Glance actually has some of the highest levels of security in the industry around collaboration. Not only do we mask it to where the associate cannot see this information, we actually mask it at the associate or the customer's browser. So Glance never sees this information either. It actually maintains in the customer's browser, maintaining maximum security around this personally identifiable information, or PII. Very easily, we can actually invoke other capabilities to actually enhance the collaboration session. Notice there's a whole array of tools. All of these are role-based tools. It can be brought to bear wherever necessary, as long as the associate has the correct role to be able to use those tools. For example, we can invoke video, and with one click, they can actually choose the video source, and we say yes. And then the video source will actually maintain. And here we have a background replacement with background blurring with both parties. And you can have up to 10 participants with video with Glance. So very, very powerful. I can actually make it larger or smaller. I can even minimize it out of the way. Very, very flexible, even smart that it will, if it's dragged into the middle, it will get out of the way by snapping to the corners. You can also invoke things like document sharing in session. For example, I've got options where I can actually send the prompt for the visitor to share a document. I can actually share a document as the associate. And even I have a list of documents that have already been predefined as good documents to share with the customer at their fingertips. In this scenario, we want proof of how much Marshall has in his checking account to open this credit card. So we're going to send the request. Again, always asks before it takes any action. And with that, Marshall can simply drag from his file directory onto the palette, and it will actually render that document. Notice it does not share it with the associate yet. It allows Marshall to actually review the document, making sure that's what he wants to share. And with one click, they're sharing this content. Now they can review through this. And there you can even do gesturing on these documents. For example, he's highlighting how much is in there and moving through that. You can even do multiple pages if necessary. Again, providing ultimate flexibility to handle the interaction in the moment and improving both customer satisfaction and their likelihood to transact again. We close out that as they've seen enough, and notice that there is a red dot above the document sharing now. I click now, and there is the document that Marshall just shared with me. Everything in the Glances also can be controlled by roles, even the sub features. So for example, we did not want the ability to download that by the associate. That can be turned off if desired. So very, very flexible and secure. But with that, they can actually store that with a CRM or the document repository. No need for Marshall to send that document through an email after the fact, or during the session and waiting for it to get through the email session. Happens right there in the moment. We can also do remote assist. So with one click, Marshall accepts they want that. And now the associate can actually go and start filling out the remainder of the form for the customer if desired and approved through security. Also, it's completely dynamic. Notice that Marshall can change and the associate can change. But notice that the associate cannot submit the form and they cannot accept the terms and conditions. You can actually mask controls. So only the associate or the customer can actually submit the form. This allows that great opportunity to enhance the experience and speed up the experience while still maintaining that the customer is the only one that can actually submit the interaction. Let's say we've got through all of the form, they're satisfied now. he would love to actually get a little bit more insight from the associate on, we'll turn off the remote assist, on NerdWallet. Notice that if it moves to third-party information, it will not render that information. This is through security. It does this on purpose so that the customer can't accidentally share something that they're not supposed to share with the associate. Not a problem, they sync right back up, but Glance provides tools to actually solve this again in session. I can actually share any of my tab or browsers as the associate. I have a pre-approved list of websites to share with the customer, or I can actually send a request to the customer to view their screen. With one click, they accept they want to do that, and now the customer can be prescriptive in choosing what it is that they would like to actually share with the associate. So there is the Chrome tab, there is the NerdWallet. They say share, and with one click, they're actually sharing that content and now can review that content and make sure that the Global Financial Services credit card is the one that Marshall prefers. He is talked through the associate, they've convinced him, and now we're driving toward conversion of this customer to Global Financial Services. With that, Marshall stops sharing, moves back to the form. The last item that Marshall would like to do is actually have his spouse, Sue, join the session and be able to review this form to make sure of everything's correct before they submit it. Not a problem. They simply go ahead and are going to start a different browser for Sue up here. And we are actually going to go ahead and do a guest join. We send a request to add a guest to the customer. They say yes, go ahead and send that. It creates this link, which we send off to Sue. Sue goes ahead and logs in here. That provides a code. The associate goes ahead and enters that code, and just like that, all of the parties are in a session together and are able to review the form. And as we discussed, you can actually do video for that additional parties up to 10. With that, now when we go down to the video, there is the associate, there is the spouse, and there is the customer all in the session together, and you can move those around where needed. Now, anything that happens, scrolling, moving, anything that is actually translated, and if Sue highlights something, you'll notice that it's in a different color than the associate. So each party has their own color and puts their name up there, so it's very transparent who is making that update. Sue mentions that he has had a raise and that's no longer correct. Marshall updates that, and just like that, all of the parties are seeing that. All the features can actually work across all of the parties as well. For example, Sue is fine with all of the rest of the content on the form, but has a question about mobile banking. Not a problem. The associate simply goes to their list. There is the mobile banking document they wish to share with everyone. They review that quickly. They say share, and now that is shared with all the parties. And again, you can actually do gesturing on that as well. And as always, the customer can download that anytime they wish, saving the need to send it separately. Sue has seen all the information she needs. She hops off the interaction. Similarly, they've got the document shared. Marshall is satisfied with it and goes ahead and submits the application. And now we have moved for full conversion and even upsell for Marshall for the credit card and got him through the entire process. With that, they can go ahead and end the Glance session and then actually hang up the phone call, creating a very successful interaction. So there you see an example of being able to use Glance with a phone call. You can actually do the exact same experience with a chat. Here we're going to log in as Robin Jones. In this scenario, though, we're actually going to show a little bit different. We're going to show some of the automation capabilities that Glance can bring to bear. So Robin is a customer that has Glance in her profile that she wants to have a Glance session each time she communicates with Global Financial Services. Notice that it started the session automatically and told her what was happening, as that she had selected in her profile that she wanted a collaboration. It tells the associate the same information because we're using chat bots within the Amazon Connect to deliver this message using AI. And when it lands at the associate desktop, it simply presents Robin with the accept. The associate doesn't have to do any action. The system already goes ahead and interacts and starts all of that connectivity, and they can actually start the session at that point anytime they wish. Okay, you can also do the same type of interaction. We'll go ahead and hang up here with Robin, close that contact, and we'll end this chat session. You can actually do the same type of interaction even on a mobile device. So we're going to minimize the web browser here, and we're actually going to go to the iOS, and we're going to place a phone call in. We're going to log in as Ted Mosby. We're going to go through menu option 2, which is credit card. And because Ted, if Ted had been a Platinum customer, it would simply auto connect to the Glance session because we have business automation in there to do that inside of the Amazon flow with the integration that we built. However, Ted is a Gold customer. And because he's a Gold customer, it's actually going to present him if he would like a collaboration or not. He's going to say yes, and when it gets to the desktop, you can actually do this automation even on a mobile device. So we'll place the call in.
Welcome to Global Financial Services. Please enter your PIN.
Ted Mosby, thank you for being a Gold customer.
Press 1 for checking. Press 2 for... Press 1 if you would like to collaborate with an associate on the website. Press any other key if not.
And he chooses to
Please log
collaborate.
in to the Global Financial Services website now.
And then tells him what
and
to
we will
do.
prompt you to collaborate when you are connected to an associate. Thank you. We are transferring you to a credit card associate.
Thank you for calling FSQ. Your call.
And so you can see it lands on the desktop, and as soon as it lands on the desktop, it presents him on the mobile application to actually accept. And just like it did on the web page, it actually spawns a session, and now you can actually move through the mobile application, and it will actually be able to replicate that for the associate. So the associate and the customer have the same experience, regardless of if it was a mobile application or the web experience. Really creating a very fluid scenario. You can even invoke video through the mobile. With one click, it'll actually pop that up, and then you'll see that it will actually have both the associate and the customer. And you can actually move these around if necessary remotely through the Glance interface. Because of the limited availability of real estate on the mobile application, I can even remotely minimize the video so that we can actually see, and you can even do gesturing. Here I'm clicking and dragging on a specific object here on this here, and so you can actually get that gesturing as you did on the website. So again, creating a very transient experience where it will replicate that as much as possible between whatever the customer wants to contact you with, whatever media type and whatever device. We're fully supported on iOS and Android, PC and Mac. All major browsers are supported, and we have SDKs that support, again, native iOS and Android, React Native, and Flutter. So very, very flexible on being able to support the infrastructure, making it where that gets out of the way of the customer. With that, they can end the session and end the call. So if you're looking to use that automation, one of the things that you want to do is around reporting. So we've got this interaction that we've driven through here, but you want to see how that actually relates to cause and effect around business outcomes. Well, Glance, a part of their integration is in the reporting as well. So you can see that here are some extracts out of the AWS contact lens. And so we've exported this information out of there on this particular interaction. This was a voice phone call, tells you what queue it went through, which routing strategy, and the details of that. But it also then gives you the Glance CRR. So this is the detailed records on the Glance side. With the integration though, you'll see that the ID from the contact ID inside of AWS is actually stored within Glance. And now we can join this data together. So we can actually see that a co-browse, a video session, a screen share, and even a guest was added to this particular interaction, and even remote assist was actually driven into this interaction. So it really allows you to understand what happened and when it happened. So I can start calculating differences between, let's say, when the session started and then when the Glance session started. This allows you to then start doing business outcomes. As you integrate into the CRM system, I can start creating business reporting such as this, showing chats versus voice with and without Glance, and the business impact, both in revenue potential that was created with and without Glance, so almost double the revenue, and in cost, which is in handle time and first call resolution. And here are your average durations, and you can see the impact of both chats and voice with and without Glance and what those do. So I can start modeling those positive outcomes as repeated automatic possibilities utilizing Glance and the auto join capability. You can even tie things like the WEM platform into it, and things like the CSAT score. So here's excellent, good, fair, and poor CSAT scores with and without Glance across chat interactions and voice interactions, and then the business outcomes that were generated out of those. So it really allows me to great insight on what is causing those positive outcomes and repeating those, and if there are negative outcomes, understanding what's happening there and being able to prevent those. And Glance, with its automation capabilities, allows you to dictate those outcomes, creating a very, very powerful story. And with that, that will actually conclude our demo, and we'll open up for any questions anyone has.
Hey, Chris, thank you so much. That was great. There is one question that came through, and I'm glad you still have the mobile up because it's on mobile. Is there the ability to do any masking on the mobile side?
Absolutely. So mobile allows you to actually mask any elements that you wish. You can even embed the website into the mobile application if you wish. And you can actually even mask those elements as well. So you can mask entire areas or specific fields if necessary.
Great. Thank you. Let me just see if there's any other questions. I don't see any other questions. That was the one. So with that, thank you, Chris. Really appreciate the time. Thanks, everybody, for watching. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to answer them or do a deeper dive on your specific use cases and situations. So with that, thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great day.